we all go through a lot of things, but we don't really actually openly come and talk about it. Okay? 3, 2, 1. Hello, people. Namaste. Welcome to Be Transparent. And today's episode is we teachers having a conversation with you guys and majorly with us, amongst us. It's going to be super fun because we're trying to be as transparent as we can because it's Be Transparent, right? Today's topic is about getting towards clarity. Yes, it can be very different for each and everyone out there because everyone's clarity is very different, and that is what I want to address today. And I want to have conversation with these beautiful, amazing souls next to me. They both have been teaching for a very long time, but practicing also for a super long time to be sharing what they're sharing today with us. And I am super excited because it's about reality. Because it's been long that we all go through a lot of things, but we don't really actually openly come and talk about it. So it's just one effort from all of us together here to be as open as we can. And I want to start this conversation with practice in particular because everyone has a very separate practice. So our agenda for today is for you to see it in a way what you prefer and not because what we are talking about, because we all three have a very individual practice and a very separate and individualistic experience towards what we're going to talk about today. Yes, I would like to also start with Chandru today. We have Chandru and Myra both with us. And yes, hi.
Hi everyone.
Hello, namaste.
Lovely. And we all of us will start with sharing a little bit about ourselves, and you can find more details in the description about us. Yes, we'll start with Chandru.
Hello everyone. I'm Chandraprakash, and thank you Anjali for doing this. Even though it was like a last minute request for me to kind of ask her to do this, we have both done Be Transparent before, like individually with Anjali, but we three, I don't know, something always told that we three were meant to talk together. I just felt that always, and even the person behind camera, Rudra, also I've spoken to him about it. I always fantasized having conversations here, even though I'm not good with having conversation. But I think it is the right time for us to kind of have this conversation. But we all are in the same mind frame at this point, and we just came out of a very intense training with our teacher, and I think it's very important that we capture this with this framework of mind as well, because we are very fresh with our learnings and also the kind of experiences we have gone through. And to tell a little bit about myself, I'm a yoga educator and I live in Mysore, and I have a studio here called Kurmashala, and that is this place you're seeing behind you.
Beautiful place.
Yes, and yeah, I'm really excited to share more about me through this conversation as well. Yeah.
Myra.
Hi, hello, namaste. I'm Myra. I am also a yoga student and a yoga educator. For me, it's very special to be here in Mysore because this is where my journey or my introduction to yoga started from. So it really doesn't feel full circle as yet, but it feels like it's just meant to be with friends and fellow practitioners and be having actually a conversation which is so important for everybody who is hopefully listening to us, but even for ourselves, because like Chandra said, we've come out into a space where we are so eager to move into clarity, and it's very special to be moving into that together through communicating. I think communication is extremely important, and that for me is something this practice has been in some way or the other. It is so much about communication. Whether you are communicating through conversation, whether you are communicating through your body, whether you are communicating through your breath, through mantra, through reading, through study, it's a constant dialogue. And unfortunately, when that dialogue stops is when you feel stuck. So I think communication is very, very important, and that's what we're here to do today. So yes.
Yes, awesome. This already feels like a lovely
Yeah,
start.
I already feel so natural talking about this.
Yes, I did have few pointers so we don't divert from the topic, as we all are super passionate about what we are about to discuss today. I want to start with the topic says clarity but confusion. Yes, we all have started somewhere in our journey, and we've always been into the pockets of confusion, majorly, to reach towards clarity, but we also don't know what the clarity is about. So let me start with something very simple. Can be a person who's been practicing for a very long time. Okay, you're a practitioner, you are not a teacher, or you're maybe aiming towards getting into a teacher's path. I would want Chandru to address this in particular. So if in case a person has been practicing and just purely dedicated towards practicing for a good time, how do you suggest them to go forward in their journey? What is that you think can help them actually go better towards their clarity?
Now, this answer for myself has changed so many times in the past few years, but I think that change that came about, any number of times it happened, is also very important. Where you think, oh, this is my clarity, but then you see it breaking apart and changing again, and then it breaking apart and changing again. So I feel like it is very important that you choose the clarity you feel in that particular instant in time and work on it, and then that will lead you to the real clarity you want. And I think that is very important, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you won't know if it is like the right thing to do or not, but what matters is it is something you want to do. This is what I want to do, this is what in my heart I feel like I want to do, and that will help you to slowly reach the clarity you need, even though you don't know what it is.
So it can also be, say, I am a new student and I want to come to learn from you or any other teacher, but I just want to do asanas. Yes, and a lot of people as teachers feel that they want to let their students know that it's beyond asanas,
Yeah.
which we've been learning quite a lot, we've been talking about. But if I come to you, Chandru, and I'm a new student, and I say, Chandru, I just want to learn asanas.
I would teach you only asanas.
Happily.
because there is so many places you can go from the body, right? Because I personally feel that working on the body is the easiest thing to do, to be very honest, because there are so many ways you can work on the body. Like what Myra was talking about, right? You can chant mantras, which is coming through your voice. You can chant just kirtan, which is just pure bhakti, right? And there is the physical practice we can do on the mat, which is just anatomy and biomechanics of the body. And there is the breath, which is the prana that flows through the body. So any direction we take, I feel like it will all lead us in the same path. And it is very important to know there is no wrong direction there. In a way, if you're going onto the body, you will go there. There is no other choice. And trust me, I've been so obsessed with the body. I still am obsessed with the body. But in a very good way, I think my mind has changed about body. Like what it used to think before, what it is thinking about the body now is very different. Like when I first started practicing, it was all about just like reach this posture. And I remember I used to take the Light on Yoga book. Like I wanted to do everything in this book, and I did. And there's nothing there. Like beyond that, I didn't know what to do. I could not share what I knew. I could not share what I was doing to people. I could not share what I knew to people who were hurt. Like it made no sense to reach there as quick as we can.
Yeah.
That
Who's
time,
the fun to reach.
yeah,
there.
exactly. Like what I noticed, not with my practice, but through my teaching, what I noticed is I had a lot of fun teaching the preparatory poses that helps you to reach that pose. And once you reach, it becomes as a different pose after that. That becomes preparation for a different asana, or different posture, a different movement of the body. So I felt like every state your body is in is an asana. Like any seated position, any little toe movement is an asana in a way, right? For that particular part of the body.
Yeah.
So even the steps you take to go from, let's say, standing to Trikonasana, you're going through multiple asanas, which we just have no nomenclature of. And we don't need the nomenclature, right? This is where the nomenclature completely breaks apart, because how long can you go on naming poses?
That's so true.
You cannot go like it. I think you get carried away. Be it Sanskrit names, English names, it does not actually matter, right? What matters is actually what your body is doing in that asana, and what your body is doing can be doing something completely different. I can ask you to do a certain thing, but your body will still do what it wants to do because of the implications your nervous system has on your body. So it's very important to explore with chill. The chillness that you have with your own body, where you just relax. No, you're not. There is no rush. There is no rush to reach any asana, because once you reach, you have one more to reach. Like there is no end here. So because of that, I think I got stuck in asana, but I chose to stick to it. Even though I got stuck here, I felt like sticking to this is the best thing I can do. Was something innately I was feeling And for a long time, I used to beat myself up saying, oh, why am I stuck here? I need to learn philosophies. I need to learn scriptures. I need to learn pranayama. I never got to go into pranayama. Like it's crazy that I'm happily talking about it now, only because of the recent learnings I've had and recent realizations I've had in the past few years from my teaching. Because teaching helped me a lot to see what I could not see in my own body.
Correct.
Quite literally, anatomy is the only way my brain works when I think about the body. Anatomy and biomechanics. And when you see anatomy in action, it is something else altogether.
Absolutely.
And it is so important. I would suggest that practitioners who are even starting as beginners find the simplest way to learn anatomy, not through words, through sensations.
That's through Chandru's
Yeah.
voice, yeah. That's through Chandru's experience.
Yeah.
But which differs for both of us in certain aspects,
Yeah.
right? And like he said, he totally welcomes a lot of asana practice. For me, in my journey, I was super inclined towards asana practice. I still am, but with my current injuries and all the things that I have going through in particular, I right now enjoy sitting still more. My aim is to be able to the run towards the posture is no more there for me in particular. So if a person who is just practicing right now is coming to me, I would never shush them away saying, oh, it's not just about posture.
Yeah.
Like he said, I would always welcome them because I also started that way.
Yeah.
That is exactly how my journey started, and which is what I feel somewhere when I was feeling burdened by the pressure of being a teacher and involving more than asanas to the practice. I want to do that, but I also want my students and every other practitioner to feel welcome.
Yeah.
That you can enter through it. You don't have to know it all when you start, and you don't need to feel the pressure to know it all. And I'm happy that Chandru is openly speaking about this, that he focuses on asana. As a teacher, we can't be master of all, right? And I want to know, Myra, would you also have a similar approach, or you have something different to this?
So for me, my introduction into what yoga was when I wanted to start practicing was asana, and I went into practicing even when I found my teacher was through asana practice. And there are many times now when I hear other people talking, and it's such a an open dialogue about yoga is more than asana, more than asana. It's more than the body. Sure, it is, but I think if you first confident, it's almost like you are not allowing yourself to sit with the fact that I do asana, I use my body, and then I want to go ahead of my body. It's almost you're already preparing yourself to get up and go on to the next without actually having found some kind of settlement, some kind of satisfaction within what you're doing. It's like, when you eat something, but someone comes and tells you, oh, you're eating this because it's deep fried, you're eating this because it has sugar, and you're like, oh wow, they make so much sense. Okay, fine, tomorrow onwards I'm not going to eat it. I can promise you're going to be thinking about it all the time. Your mouth is going to be salivating when you think about that sugar which you're not giving yourself, because you haven't allowed yourself to experience it entirely.
Correct.
And along with experience, unfortunately and fortunately, pain does come. Injuries do come. Imbalances do come, because how do you know what clarity or what balance is until you haven't experienced a state of confusion and a state of imbalances? So I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about or upset about, or pull yourself down where you feel, oh, I should have listened to that person who said it's more than the body because the body is hurting me. No, it's absolutely not that. I think there is a step-by-step journey and an introduction into anything at all. And it's about owning and embracing what you have in front of you. If you have a teacher who teaches you postures and you resonate with that teacher, then, why not? Why not? Yeah.
I think there's something important I wanted to mention, because I also got distracted from the question you asked me and I told something else. Kind of want to come back so I can conclude in a way. Because I feel like, same as what we are talking about, where people start exploring asana, but they put a time limit on it. Oh, I'll do it for so many years and then we'll see where it goes. Right? But it is very specific. it's very personal to each person how much time you need to put in asana. Like let's say because of your injury, because of the traumas you have gone through in your entire life, because of how your raising upbringing was in your family, so many things come to it, right? Because body is you, mind is you. It is connected. End of the day, you cannot separate it. And I feel personally, including myself, the first few years of asana practice, you get so involved in those elements of asana, which
Addicted.
which is like inside a mat, right? And we don't apply it in other art forms. End of the day, doing a dance is also a dynamic asana, right? Like asana is not just yoga; it's just everything that everyone moves. Every movement is asana in a way. Just a Sanskrit term, let's say, for movement in a way. That is what I correlated to as. And I feel like, let's say, dancing, other art forms that involves the body is also very, very important. And I only understood this very late in my practice, after like a decade of practice, which is only because no one talks about it and no one promotes it because of how the world is right now, right? And I feel like it is very important that you choose and run towards the curiosities that appear inside you, because that is where the direction comes from.
Okay.
You feel curious about something, you feel curious about some video you saw on Instagram about someone dancing Bharatanatyam, go explore, right? And through that you will understand what it means asana is.
Yes.
And I think because of this understanding, which came somewhat very forcefully into my life, because I lost my practice for a long time, I didn't know what to do. I'll get on my mat, everything felt easy to do, and when that effortlessness comes, is the hardest time to actually practice. But this is when I started looking outwards, and then I realized everything is movement. End of the day, right?
So
Just
true.
walking is movement. You can do anything that helps you, right? But you also have to tap into that curiosity you're feeling. Why am I feeling this curiosity? And then you dwell into that new art you have found, and then you realize what it is that is attracting you towards it. And you get the teaching from it, and then you drop it. You don't need to continue it. And this can also happen with asana. At some point, it will drop, like what we were discussing I think other day in the philosophy class. Like when a ripe fruit drops off the tree by itself, it will drop on its own when you're matured and you've got what you want from the practice.
It doesn't
Even if
decide
it takes,
when it's a seed
yeah,
that after 1 month, 5 days, I will drop.
Yeah.
yeah, you cannot choose this time because there is no time frame for this.
Yeah.
And it could be that you started with asana, you did it for 3 months, and through asana you realize some understanding about yourself, and you might slip from asana and go into a study, which is okay, you can drop asana then, but it has to come innately. Oh, I'm satisfied, I'll drop it.
It's your
So
choice.
yeah, it is not also about, let's say, developing your body or like even healing through your trauma, because asana might not help you to heal through trauma all the time. It might not help you to heal through injuries all the time. You actually have to go to a doctor and check an MRI, but you have to always be in that state of mind where you're listening to yourself and what you feel inside, and that is where truly like the direction comes.
Absolutely.
And I only realized what this is called is Guru Tattva. Even if you don't have a Guru, Guru Tattva will guide you. Like there is that guidance that comes through the universe, that comes through the Mother Nature, and we just have to listen. And most of the time, we're just fighting it, including like we all fight. We all fight with our parents also, but sometimes we also have to listen to them.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
true. Speaking about practice, and we all somewhere believe in the fact that embrace the practice. You don't have to, if you have been surrounded by people telling you that yoga is way much more, we all agree it is. But don't make yourself feel compelled in a way that you don't know it all. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's the start of the process, and whatever helps you get into the process. If you enjoy sitting and meditating, and that is your calling, that is yoga for you. If you enjoy sitting and chanting, doing bhajan kirtan, that is for you. If we enjoy sitting and doing asanas, this is our way where we are starting towards. It's starting towards. And I would want to encourage yoga teachers also, which I feel in these last 3 days of the practice that we were doing together, I feel a sense of chill. We call it the chill.
It is.
I feel finally that sense of chill, that it's okay if I don't know it all, because I don't have to know it all. Also, that in the journey of learning, you might find a teacher. You might find a teacher, and it can be highly possible that you might not resonate with them. Yes, and we say it. We came to an acknowledgement on our conversation before this camera got on that we might not be able to help every individual out there in their practice, and we're very familiar with it. And we as teachers would like to build that clarity in ourselves on an individual level, that we might not be able to help everyone. So as teachers, we are also students first, and we're learning. And I can't necessarily help Myra, and I might be able to help Chandru. And is so much more in a similar context. So I want you to maybe get into more elaboration to this topic, where it's okay to detach, let go, and try to have open approach towards finding your teacher and being okay with not having one for the time being, and not beating yourself by the fact that okay, I want to have a race for it, because like I said, your fruit will ripe when it's supposed to ripe. It's not going to ripe before it's time, and you can't put a chemical to it to ripe it, because then it's
not
not the
It's not organic.
yeah, it's not it's not organic. Right, and you don't want to put that injection to your, I mean, unless you want it, that's a personal choice, but we would consider the crowd that we are addressing to doesn't want it to
It
be,
will definitely taste different.
yeah. We want it to taste authentic. So yes, I would love to hear about this.
For me, actually, this makes so much sense. And where we started from, clarity. When you approach a teacher, if you know why you are going to that teacher to begin with, without having any context as to what the teacher has to offer you, I think that is the second stage. Your relationship, your connection with the teacher is also secondary. First, I can be going to my teacher because I want to take out 1 hour of the day for
Move.
myself.
Just move.
That is it.
Yeah.
Move, not move. I just want to take away 1 hour from my home, from my daily activities, from my work, all of that. That is simply why I've come. If I'm coming with that clarity, without any judgment of that clarity. Sometimes you come, I want to be flexible, but I don't want to say it out loud because I'll be judged for the fact that, oh, how shallow, I only want to be flexible. Absolutely not. If you come with whatever your one requirement is and you put it in front of your teacher. Now, what your teacher has to give you will come from your teacher's experience, and that brings me to what Chandru was talking about, how clarity also changes. So to be open-minded about clarity changing. Clarity is very important, but not being stubborn that I want this or I don't want anything at all. Then why are you coming to a teacher? You're coming to get something from that teacher. Be open. Keep your vessel slightly open for your teacher to pour in, what their experience or what their learning is. And then maybe your clarity changes. And I think in that process or in that transition, within that openness is possibility for you to realize, do I resonate with this teacher or do I not? Because then in your gut that this relationship has a future or it doesn't have a future. And it's the same with anything you do. You do an asana, it might look, you really want to do it. You want to do it with all your heart. But when you're actually in the process of doing it, it is not making you feel all the things you thought it would make you feel.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, okay, maybe right now it's not for me. Maybe it'll come to me later, maybe it won't come to me. Let me, so that openness also only comes when you come with clarity.
But that awareness also takes time.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
awareness takes
I wanted
time.
to mention what Prasadji was explaining us one of the days. He said that the learning is, let's say, split into 100%. 25% comes from the teacher.
Absolutely.
25% comes from us, our own efforts that goes beyond the class, and 25% comes from your fellow students and your interactions and your visual understanding with them, and the rest 25% comes with time.
Yes.
This is so important. I'm getting goosebumps just saying it, because every time time comes in now, I just watched this movie called Arrival. You guys should go watch Arrival.
Oh, what?
It talks about how time is not linear,
Okay.
and how the language we speak changes the perception of time. It is a beautiful movie. Definitely should have must watch.
It brings me to an example which is not yoga related, but it explains the whole context we're talking about. Okay, imagine you want to learn how to make rotis. Yes, and you go to a cook and he decides to help you to make a roti. You can call it pancake if you're not aware about roti. But the cook will tell you, okay, let's make roti, but he'll teach you how to make a dough. And you'll be like, no, just teach me how to make roti. And the cook is saying, no, first you need to learn the proportion of the water into the flour. Then you have to take time to knead the dough. And you're irritated, like, I didn't come for this, just teach me the roti.
Exactly.
And we also have to let it sit with time.
And you will not learn that dough will not get into the perfect consistency for the first 1 month maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're too good, you might crack it in the very first go, which is every human being, you know.
That's when you drop the fruit.
You're like, I came for roti and this person is just making me teach how to make the dough. I am done, I'm not good. This is not what I'm looking for. But you have to just wait a little longer that you learn to make roti. But when you actually start learning to make roti, you will notice it's not soft.
Yeah.
It's not even round.
Quality is different, yeah.
And you're like, I looked at the roti is supposed to be round, and when I ate it, it has been so soft. My mother has been feeding me soft. Why am I not able to make it? You don't understand that it took your mother the number of practices and years that she does it, and the passion she puts it in.
The love they put in
The
it.
love that is there, she wants to feed you with all her heart so that that roti is soft and has so much love in it that it tastes so good. Yes. In the same way, when your teacher is trying to teach you how to make the dough, you might not find sense to it initially. But if you have a little more faith before you decide if it works for you, if you end up making the roti and after the process of learning roti, you still decide that maybe this is not the version of roti I wanted, then you can choose to switch.
Yeah.
But give your teacher the time to help you make that dough. And you're going to put effort to knead that dough because you know better roti will only taste even better if the dough is kneaded well.
Yeah.
And give yourself the time to really, kind of just sit with the experience of it, because so I think what is very special, what is very important is not just giving your teacher the time to show you what the experience is like, but giving yourself that time. Really giving yourself the time to see what are all the things that are coming up for me in that experience.
Correct.
And what are all the things it's making me feel also.
The world is not quick. Nothing can be done in jiffy.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
And I think
Yeah.
one more thing is when people go to learn somewhere, they want to transform. You want to grow. Two things definitely it is what you're going for,
Yeah.
right? Growth and transformation only comes through change. It cannot come through what you already know. So you have to let go of what you know. And however attached you are to what you know, it is not going to help you grow. Like you have to realize this because that is the truth. Like there's no other way around it, right?
Yes.
So you have to always focus on seeing what they're talking about, or even whatever the teacher is sharing about, seeing it from their perspective that they are trying to offer.
Absolutely.
And if you cannot see it in their perspective, if you still continue to see it from your patterns and your perspective, there's nothing you can learn from there. It'll take even longer to transform and to change.
That's lovely. I want to, from here, because it's such an extension to what we're speaking, dive into when we're actually studying, practicing, understanding, receiving, and giving as teachers, we come across these scenarios where we injure ourselves. We end up of having layers, you know.
Sit comfortably.
Yeah, so just keep shaking your body as you watch us because your back is probably numb. Yeah, unless you're lying and listening to us. But like I said, it's not like this. Our practice is just like our heartbeat, up and down. And we all, as teachers and students, have put in ourselves in the pressure of I have to practice, and this injury is pulling me down. Why is it supposed to happen to me? Why me? Why I was practicing so nicely? Finally, I was getting that growth. Finally, I got that posture, and now I'm not. I cannot practice, and that's when you start becoming a little inconsiderate towards yourself. And I want to hear from both of you in the similar context to a student and a teacher level, whatever you feel like talking in this context. But in terms of how we pressure ourselves in the name of practice when we're supposed to be considerate.
And I was just thinking where to start. Because it's an injury, it's a big word.
Okay, just break down from your practice or anything. Yeah.
So I think primarily what is an injury is something you need to learn. What it is to have an injury, what it is to have pain, what is pain. So this is a very important factor for anyone to understand who is doing any kind of practice with respect to their body and anything that you're doing with respect to healing, you have to understand what these elements are and how you can define them for yourself, because that is where the learning starts. Until then, you're just taking someone else's learning, which will not help you. Like how someone else's hamstrings are injured, you cannot learn from that, right? You cannot do anything with others' knowledge here. This is very personal. What you feel as an injury, as a pain, is very, very deep-rooted pain or deep-rooted trauma that you are feeling in your body. It has to only come from your experience, how you deal with it. So you have to put in that effort to understand and learn what it is to have an injury, what it is to have pain. Even if others are teaching you, you have to experience it personally to understand it. Now, beyond this, I would say one of the main reasons I got really fascinated with massage and like even at a very young age, I've been giving massages to people for 10 years and I don't even know what motivated to be to give massage, but I just love giving massage. I think early on I realized the kind of relief massage gives to people or that brings to people, and that's what actually drive me to kind of pursue that direction in a way where you're understanding massage and how it can help yoga practitioners or people who are practicing physical movements and physical practices, and how it can support them, right? So this massage I'm talking about is basically recovery. It can be anything for you. It can be like you rubbing yourself, or be it you go getting a massage somewhere, or be it go seeing a physiotherapist when you're in pain, or going to a doctor when you actually feel some internal pain, or getting an MRI or an X-ray when you have pain in your bones. And if you have sensations, very intense sensation in your body, you take a break and take a step back and observe your body. All these things you have to do. No one can know what is happening inside you.
Correct.
Whatever happens, even the doctor cannot tell exactly what is wrong with you. There are so many cases the doctor they like, okay, go and we'll see what happens, and then you come back and then you give another a symptom, and then he comes to know, so he gets slightly closer to what is wrong with you. So the process is trial and error. End of the day. So first thing I would say is, physically, even if someone is correcting you, as long as it is not very violent and irrespect, like there is no respect in the correction or physical correction you're receiving, and there is no like involvement of the teacher, where the teacher is not involved in your body, is looking somewhere, thinking something and pulling, or talking on the phone and pulling your arm or leg. As long as it is not something like that, if you feel the teacher had a pure intention when they were correcting you and still you got hurt, it still might not be their fault. You have to understand that, because their intentions were still pure and they did not want to hurt you. And if you still got hurt, there are many, many factors why that could have happened. I know it's easy to quick to blame, right? Because we need blame, because we need to hold someone responsible because of all the conditioning we have had, like in this age where responsibility is a big thing, right?
It makes us feel like, no,
Yeah.
it's not our problem.
It's not our problem to deal with. They will help me.
Yeah.
You have to help yourself. No one else will help you heal.
Yeah.
That is the most primary thing. And you have to take steps, very, very, very small steps, to bringing your body back. Or quite literally, your body will not come back. And you might have met people already in your own family where they have knee pain and they don't go to doctor. They knee pain for years together, and then they have arthritis, or they have like some meniscus tear inside, or so many things one small pain can lead to if you don't check what is wrong. So first thing is energetically check with yourself. Why did this happen? History of what happened in that spot where you're feeling pain is very important, because history will tell you where the actual pain is. Because wherever you're feeling is the effect of whatever has happened. It is not the cause of what happened. So you need to go back to the root and understand where actually what went wrong, and you got this feeling or this sensation. So it is very important that you know yourself, right? You're mindful when you're practicing. If you're not mindful, you're not going to know when you hurt your ankle. You might feel it afterwards, but you don't know how it happened because you're not mindful. It's just like letting it go, and
But
it
it's
just
okay if you ended up not being aware and
that's when you take help. Yeah. Then you go to a professional. Still, even with a professional, if you're not complying towards what they're saying and how they're recommending you to do things, it's not going to help you. You can go to a physiotherapist and they'll give you a set of exercises, and if you don't do them, of course, you're not going to heal from it. You cannot say, oh, I went to physio, it did not help me. Right? You have to take time, ample amount of time, as long as your body needs. Very specific to you. As long as your body wants, needs. How do you know? You will know you're not healed. For sure. You will still have pain. Right?
Discomfort.
Yeah, you still have pain, discomfort. You have to wait until it goes away. Keep trying. Again, the more and more you do this with resistance internally. When I say resistance, when is this pain going to go away? It's not going to help. You have to do it lovingly. Imagine your mom has knee pain and you're giving her a massage. You're going to put all your love into it because you don't want her to feel pain. It's the same thing you need to do to yourself. You need to put all that effort and love into healing yourself. Only then it will happen quicker. You cannot get stuck in a battle or mental crisis where, why did this happen to me? Because it's already happened, it's in the past. We cannot go back to the past. So, even though it is very challenging, depending on what your emotional state is and what the injury does to your emotional state, we still have to be rational there. We still have to take help of professionals and constantly ask them questions, because nowadays it has got to a point where people stop inquiring about things that give them clarity because they trust someone else's clarity, which is completely fine to a point, but you still need your clarity. You still need to know, oh, this will help me. So you need to question why. You go to physio, don't just do what he's asking you to do and come back home. And then you come back home like, oh, went to physio, it'll heal. No, it'll not. So you have to constantly keep in mind, oh, this part of my body is hurt. Even mentally, you have to constantly tell yourself, okay, this part is hurt, and I'm going to promote healing internally by even thinking about it, right? And walking mindfully and not straining it again, not falling again. Like, this is very important. How many times have we injured the same place twice? Many times, right? Only because we were not self-aware. So self-awareness is a very important thing again to when it comes to injury, to understand what happened. And that is the start. Everything else follows. And if you need help, you have to ask help.
You have to be open, and especially teachers, I believe. Students, I understand, but when we fall under the category, I'm going to use the word we, because we all put under the same category, that when we also fall under the category of having struggles during our journey. Okay, it can be any kind of practices that you're going through, and when we have struggles in the process, because we are under a title, we feel compelled. Like, I've come across a lot of people telling me, "Oh, you're a yoga teacher. You shouldn't be having this problem. Oh, why are you sick? You're the yoga teacher." I'm not God, and even God is not immune from a lot of things. I'm assuming, because, like I said, you learn from all these ventures that you go through. I call them ventures because I personally feel my all these highlights that I've gone through, I say our life is like a heartbeat. You don't want it to be flatline because you're not alive, because you're dead basically. And exactly, it shows our life is like that. It's literally like our heartbeat. So if you don't cherish the lows, you will not reach high. If you get a fracture in your say leg, yes, your body will help you to its fullest to heal, but your responsibility is to go to the doctor or get yourself that plaster that helps you heal in the process the way you want it. Or else the body will heal eventually if you allow it to heal, but in a crooked manner. If something happens to your finger and you don't realize and it turns out to be a fracture, when it heals, you'll see your fingers are crooked. Yeah, it'll not be in the same direction. Your universe, your nature is always communicating with you and telling you that I'm going to do my best to help you, but you have to be there for yourself. So if you're a teacher, you can't be in this way that I will have to be immune of everything. Because you can't, honestly, you can't. Yes, Myra, you have anything to?
No, I absolutely agree. I think something which has become such a thing, we say, what is yoga on the mat and what is yoga off the mat. And we don't really talk about what yoga is off the mat. Or we talk about, how there's much more than asana, everything that is off the mat. I think yoga off the mat, more than anything, is just your attitude towards also dealing with who you are on the mat. It says so much about you, your personality, your approach towards things, your acceptance and openness towards things. And that's not only while you are doing your self-study or chanting or asana, it's how are you interacting with your family members, how are you dealing with fights, with conflict? How are you at work? All of these things say a lot about you, and you see glimpses of it even when you're trying to do a new posture or that posture is not working out for you. You've been trying to learn a new mantra, you're trying to understand something and you just can't understand it. How are you dealing with it is how you are dealing with any other situation on your life, and that as per me, is yoga on the mat and yoga off the mat. And when it comes to, Chandru explained injuries, so well. I think I want to talk about being considerate with yourself, because when I know the feeling of really been wanting to, do one posture for very long, and when you do it, you celebrate your body. You're like, wow, this is the best body in the world, and it just can't get better. I got it. Thank you, knees, elbows, everything. But when it doesn't happen and you hurt yourself through it, then you're just like, why this knee? This elbow doesn't understand what I wanted to do. It doesn't understand my mind, and they're not in. You immediately start, you get so angry with it. How is it going to learn? You have to celebrate it and you have to give it the care, whether it is doing what you wanted to do or whether it's not doing what you wanted to do. I think that is when you are a lot more considerate with it. It's the same thing when you're chanting. If you're not able to pronounce in the beginning, like you weren't able to even pronounce English words when you were a toddler, you weren't beating yourself up over it. You accepted that it's a journey. So it's a journey, it is constantly a journey before anything else. And lastly, the feeling of belonging. I think when you feel like you belong to yourself, you also feel like you belong to things around you, people around you. And when you go through hardship, something very difficult that I dealt with personally for a while was a sense of shame that came along with pain. How could I be feeling pain?
I'm a
And
yoga
if
teacher.
I'm a yoga, and even if I'm not a yoga teacher, I'm a yoga student. Did I not understand what my teacher had been telling me? Why, if he's not feeling pain, why am I feeling pain? And then you don't know who to take it to. You take it to your family, they are not going through what you're going through every day, they don't understand. You take it to friends of yours who don't do this practice, they don't understand.
Doctor.
Maybe you take it to a doctor, and I've actually heard doctors tell me that I would recommend yoga to you. You are coming after yoga. I don't think they understand the impact it has on you. They might just say it carelessly. You take it maybe even to your teacher, and they might say that, well, you're not listening to what I was saying. And then lastly, your students. You're so scared that you lose all your students because they'll be like, how can I learn from somebody who is hurting themselves every day? And then you take it to your fellow yoga practitioners thinking they will judge you, right? So you ultimately just isolate yourself in this little hole of self-shame and sabotage in some way, that how did I get here? And it is only after meeting, and specifically both of you, really conversations with this conversation and prior conversations, where I feel so belonged here, like I would want to belong more and more. And at the same time, I go home feeling like I belong to myself again, and that is such an empowering feeling. You can connect with people better when you can connect with yourself. Now, you may be connecting with yourself through your joints and limbs. You may be hearing your voice in a more melodious way than you ever could have thought while chanting, or you're just connecting through conversation. At the end of it, humans want connect, right? We are social beings. We want connect, and we want healthy connect. And I think the connection with yourself reflects onto connection with other people and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So lovely. I mean,
I want to add just one.
Yeah,
I know we are out of time.
yeah.
Just know that only you know your body better.
Yes.
No one knows.
Like
it.
whatever someone asking you to feel, you might not feel it. You will feel your own thing. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
keep experience short.
I wanna sum up to this with what Myra and Chandru both were speaking, that of course you know your body best, but having your own effort to understanding your body is the only way to know your body best.
Yes,
You
yes.
can't know it from your birth. If you just started practicing and I tell you that I see your hamstrings are stiff, this is my information given to you from the visual I have. You can get this information by your experience when you go down and try a posture. But if you don't have the interest towards awareness, you might not reach there in the first place. And if you're going through anything that you're going through, and if you can, like I feel blessed to have found these company to speak about vocally, it makes me feel that I'm not the only one. If we all can together actually make this environment more approachable to all your fellow practitioners, all your fellow people that may be just in the same class as you, where they share relatability with you, you'll realize that you don't have to feel like you're alone in this journey. And when you do that, you will know that you build a community together with you that will help you only. You don't have to compete with them. You can't compete with yourself also. I'll tell you, today if you work on your anger, how long can you sustain is not in your hand. It's in your circumstances. If I am very patient on my mat and I try to decide, it's my sankalp, my decision that I'm going to today channelize this calmness throughout the day, the life will throw some things at me. It will throw me in a place where I will end up coming out of it. So if I'm a yoga teacher, yoga educator, or a human being, I will still have the humanness to be angry about certain things. You don't have to feel bad about it. Your work is to pull yourself back in, and how much time do you take to realize that you have to pull yourself back in. And you be open to going out of the surface as many times as you can, but be interested enough, not even humble, interested enough to pull yourself back in. The interest to pulling yourself back in will make it a sustainable process for you, and that is all we should strive for. Not
Yes.
coming on the mat to hit that posture, but to get to know yourself better, because it's such a beautiful journey, right?
Yeah.
You're knowing yourself so much more, but when you speak out loud, like when I talk to them, I get to know more about me. That, oh, I was realizing that, but I thought it's not relatable, but you told me about this, it makes sense so much to me. It makes sense. I would never go out and tell anyone that I went to a doctor and he said, Arey, I to suggest people to do yoga. You're a yoga teacher and you're in pain. How can you be in pain? And it's such a wrong mentality. And it's not welcoming from a doctor's end also, but I'm hoping there'll be an open approach and open lens towards it. But I would like to sum up this with saying, be considerate towards yourself. You're gonna love it because you need to love yourself before anyone expecting anyone to love you. You need to love yourself. Yes. It's such a lovely. I don't think I want to stop this because I know, we decided so much to talk about today, and I have a list in front of me, and we didn't touch any of it. We didn't touch any of it, and we're beyond our time. But I'm expecting more of these conversations in our further parts, and I would love to hear from you guys. And please open this forum to sharing whatever you feel in a similar context.
Yes.
And I really want to thank Anjali for starting this thing called Be Transparent, because I feel like she's bringing this out of us, because we don't know where to throw this out, because we are holding it and it feels more and more and more open every time we speak and come together like this. And it only makes us better as human beings also, I would say. And if any of you are teachers and if you want to share your story, I think you should reach out to Anjali and be part of Be Transparent.
Thank you. That's so encouraging. Thank you.
I
course.
also really want to thank Anjali and Chandru. Really, I found such wonderful friends in both of you, and teachers and fellow practitioners in both of you. And it's just it is all about, ultimately when you speak, you are more excited about what else is there to come.
Yeah.
I am more excited about, okay, so what more do I have to give? What more do I have to receive?
Yeah.
And yes, we know in the larger picture there is a lot of hardship, there is a lot of suffering, all of that, but it's almost like you're just like, okay, bring it on.
I also want to really thank Prasad ji for bringing
Yes,
us together in this
absolutely.
studentship,
Yes.
because I've known both of you for so long, but I always wanted to be part of
something
that sangha, right?
Yes.
I finally feel like it's brewing,
Yes,
and this is
absolutely.
wonderful.
I'm waiting for January now.
Yeah.
You guys need to be filled in with the context. We just finished our boot camp at Kurmushala in Mysore, which was hosted by RCP and Prasadji, Yoga Prasadji, and you must know that it was a 3-day intensive camp where we had so much to learn, where our eyes were like this.
I was crying in so many lectures.
I was sleeping also, I will not lie. I couldn't take it all.
Listening
but
in your dream state.
yeah, I was channelizing all the states possible. But you can see us, we're so full of energy, and we're looking forward to coming back and having more conversations with you all. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rudra.
Thank you, Rudra, the person behind the camera.
Yeah.
She only will do everything, bro. She's the boss lady.
Very, very. Okay. Yes.